Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Webb from Cemex. I'm a specification manager, and my role is focused on early engagement. So that's discussing with key decision makers and designers, engineers, and promoting our products that may be suitable to their projects, including increasing awareness of new, innovative solutions suitable to sites' specific requirements. So today we're going to look at Future in Action, which is 6 pillars that Cemex focus on, 6 areas that we intend to innovate. And then also from there we'll dip into some of the digital solutions for design and production, order tracking, deliveries and end production performance. So not all the ideas behind this are new, but with our collective growing digital capacity, the accessibility of them is increasing in the industry. So these are the 6 pillars. Future in Action recognises the opportunity for reducing emissions isn't limited to the production process, but the entire life cycle of a product, as well as transforming the industry's value chain as well. So Future in Action focuses significantly on reducing direct and indirect CO2 emissions from our operations, as well as providing sustainable and innovative solutions for society. So to do this, we have these 6 pillars which we'll focus on. So first of all, sustainability, sustainable products. The opportunity for reducing emissions is not limited to the production process, but to the entire life cycle. We use this to contribute to building resilient infrastructure, climate-smart urban development, promoting economic growth, preserving the environment and improving everyone's quality of life. To build a better future, this requires innovating in concrete, specifically, which is my area, and we use the characteristics here for a low-carbon economy. So we've set a goal of achieving 50% virtuous cement and ready-mix concrete in sales by 2025, and this means we've developed a number of new products. So these are low-carbon cements, which are available across Europe with a reduction of 55% lower CO2 emissions. We have lower carbon concretes, mortar and screed, which could include elements such as graphene. We've got a natural biosource range of admixtures, which we use in those products as well. We have low carbon asphalt and ready block low carbon solutions. We're using recycled aggregates, recycling into asphalt. We're recycling road, we're using plastics. We're using shredded tyres, crumb rubber into asphalt as well. The Virtua elements in terms of a Virtua solution, these aren't limited to low CO2, but they also include areas of water management. So we have permeable products, permeable asphalt, permeable concrete, and permeable block paving as well. Recycled aggregate is a large part of the Virtua range. We have thermal conductivity or thermal properties of concretes and other solutions. They form part of the Virtua range too. And along the way we have carbon calculations available on request for all of our cements and concrete products. So looking into decarbonising our operations, we're evolving our production process to reduce carbon footprint at every step of the way. So Future in Action concentrates on maximising 4 levers to reduce the carbon emissions and achieve our 2030 goals. So we're increasing the use of alternative fuels, so we're using biofuels, waste-derived fuels, and as of last year we had a 73% reduction in CO2 and a replacement level. Reducing the clinker factor in our cements, so we're looking to blend more, using SCMs. We're optimising thermal efficiency in the kiln, reducing temperatures where possible to get the same product without using as much energy. And we're also using decarbonated raw materials as well to get there. So when we look at progress, we often look back at 1990 levels. We compare to 1990, which is a time when the industry stood up and realised they needed to make a change to these processes. So as of last year, compared to 1990 levels, the cement production recognised a reduction of 47% in their CO2 emissions, and the ready-mix concrete production was 48% reduction. With innovation and partnerships, We know that to unlock true carbon neutrality, we need to discover new technologies that can capture and store and utilise carbon, so CCUS. Some of these areas, these partnerships that we have include Carbon Clean, and they've developed a breakthrough technology called Cyclone CC, which can effectively and cost efficiently capture CO2 from the industrial process. And the goal here is to make it easily usable and easy to set up. So simpler, much quicker and safer to install, and so it can operate in less than 8 weeks. The lower emissions intensity lime and cement project. This one seeks to separate carbon produced from the clinker manufacturing process, so the concentrated CO2 resulting can be easily captured and stored. We have partnership with Synhelion, which use solar heat, and this is amplified through hundreds of perfectly angled mirrors to power our cement kilns and therefore eliminate the need for any other sources of fuel and capturing 100% of the carbon emissions, which can then be stored or utilised as feedstock. We partner with BP, and this is to produce lower carbon power, transport and energy efficiency, as well as developing urbanisation solutions. Within the company, we have Cemex Ventures, who lead innovation. Employees are encouraged to submit and identify valuable ideas aligned with the company's priorities. And then also Volvo, and we work with Volvo to reduce our footprint of Cemex's fleet, and also the global implementation of electromobility on mobile equipment and trucks on our plants and our sites. And the image you can see here, number one, is our Rudersdorf plant in Germany. We've got the Rudersdorf Carbon Neutral Alliance. This is working to produce our first net zero CO2 plant ever with all these companies. So here we're looking at promoting a green economy, and we look at waste directives for energy recovery, clean energy, recycling demolition waste, and government and multilateral R&D funding. So here we work with these associations. We're either chairs or members of these associations to help advocate for these areas where we can move forward to move towards carbon neutrality. For circular economy principles, we've launched Regenera, which is our waste management business, and it looks to manage the waste business and process the waste and then look to reutilisation in our products as well. And then the sixth pillar is water and biodiversity. So we're dedicated to positively impacting nature by preserving, restoring and enhancing it at every step of the value chain. So we're looking to use either recirculated water, recycled water at our plants. We're enhancing and restoring quarries or quarry sources that are now redundant to us, and they come back as an area of outstanding natural beauty. So those are the 6 pillars. So now we're going to look at technology in the supply chain. So historically, in the area of concrete, we haven't seen a rapid adoption of new technology. It's probably true of the construction industry, but in recent years that is changing. And there are various ways of presenting the process in realising a project. But if we just look at this, 3 macro stages, from design, order and tracking to performance. So first of all, building information modelling, BIM adoption. NBS published their digital construction report last year, and it showed a development of adoption to BIM, showing that digitally we are using BIM to create projects. So how is this of use to us? Well, it means we're able to get in front of these designers and engineers, the key players in the BIM environment, by creating plugins. So if you can see here, Navisworks, Revit and Robot, we have plugins available that gets our innovative materials in front of these designers at the early stage so they can look to get these into their designs. We'll look at Revit. This is a Revit model that's been created, and it includes some standard concrete mixes. Revit will include those mixes as standard. They're nothing special, they're just concrete mixes. If we then add a Cemex plugin to this, which is downloadable from our website. You can see on the ribbon here we've got Cemex, and then we've got various tools that can be used to help the designers. If we focus on the sustainable construction tool, if you click on this tool, this will give us alternative products, and it will maintain the requirements such as compressive strength, which is obviously important for the project, but it will give some solutions that will give lower CO2. So if you look at the graph on the right, we've got the blue bar, which is CEM 1, which again is the 1990 level. No one's ever going to build in purely CEM 1 concrete. The baseline is those standard mixes that are supplied by Revit, and then the green line is those that have been loaded up from our plugin that show you the achievement that you can get with lower CO2 options through Cemex. Once you're happy with that, you can apply the changes. Again, there's options to select or deselect whichever mixes you see fit on the left-hand side. And what will happen now is we've got the original design that's been developed with the standard materials from the Revit library, but now they include the lower carbon concretes with comparable performance to the standard and with a reportable CO2 reduction. So these options are not available as standard in Revit, they do need to be downloaded from the plugin. At the second stage, we've got order tracking. Now Cemex Go is the construction industry's first end-to-end digital platform to help you work faster and smarter. So you can see the status of your jobs, place orders and track them, access your records and pay invoices and more. It's a really positive indication that digital adoption is not solely at the early stages of the construction phase, but also being embraced more towards site level. And we have an 85% adoption of Cemex Go. From that information we have, it appears that the interest in smart sensor technology is increasing. So once we get to site, we're interested in the performance of concrete. There's some market analysis out there that reports an expected continued increase in growth of this up until 2030. And our illustration here shows inquiries coming into us at Cemex. We had a little blip in that COVID year, but after that there was a sharp rise in the interest of a smart sensor technology. And this led to the creation of our Cemex Icon business, which is a full package solution offering ready-mix concrete, smart sensors, and the calibration by the lab experts team as well. A little graphic there of what the sensors look like. So how this works, ready-mix concrete is supplied to site. The lab expert technicians will come along, they'll take their cubes, they'll control the curing of those, take them back to the lab, and they'll create the curve, the maturity curve that will then be supplied to the app, which feeds back to the sensors, who then also talk to the app, and you can read your maturity from that. So you can see your strength gain, you can see the temperature there, and you can work out whether you can strip earlier or whether you can reduce your cement content to have a more efficient mix. So this is just one way of illustrating the construction phases, and it's a big oversimplification of the process. But from a macro perspective, it shows that with the tools available, it's an exciting time with a clear uplift in the adoption to digital tools for unlocking efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Any questions, please? Oh, got two over there. Correct. First, yeah.
Simon Byers from Vantage Data Centers. Have you fed any graphene modelling into your Icon Mix digital platform?
Not yet. It's certainly possible, obviously, and we've been working with Concrete with graphene into concrete. So far as results from that, it's been from cubes only, so we haven't used the sensors in that concrete yet, and trials are ongoing.
Okay, so you're doing trials on slabs?
Yeah, trials on slabs. There's a slab here, I believe, out the front that was supplied with graphene in.
There is.
Yeah.
15 metres just outside this window.
And there's more trials ongoing, which again the smart sensors could be used in those to track that maturity. Yeah.
Craig?
Yeah, Craig Wilson from Concrete.
Right.
Assuming supplementary cementitious materials generally based on GGBS and PFA, what should
Well, we wouldn't want to pigeonhole GGBS, PFA, certainly not PFA because it seems relatively non-existent, but also there's others such as limestone fines as a replacement. So we use CEM2AL a lot. Wherever graphene can play a part, if it can become an SCM or whether it's an admixture, whether it's even a coating, it certainly looks to have the value that it can be used in that area.
So then how do we add that to the model? Just following this question.
Good question. Yeah, if the supply is sufficient to be able to, certainly from us, I think it was something like 2 billion tonnes or 2 billion metres of concrete last year alone. So if there's a supply enough to be able to replace, see what that relationship is, to get the same sort of strengths with that replacement, what that level of replacement is of graphene to that clinker-based factor, wherever that is, then, I'd say it could fit in there.
And I've got a related question. On the model, if there's an admixture X, which is benefit, not necessarily graphene, what's a typical adoption cycle? I mean, it depends on the data, depends on the admixture, I know, but
Yeah.
do you have like a route to adopting the standard when you're working with the admixture suppliers?
Generally, it's through trials.
Trial.
If it can
So
demonstrate
it's
that obviously
demonstrable data.
cost-effective,
Yeah.
lower CO2, yeah, that's it. It's all data-backed, yeah.
So it's demonstrable data is the key things is decarbonisation and cost effectiveness.
Yeah. And to go back, your point there, to get graphene into BS8 500 as a standard SCM, as a blend in there, would be a potential to get into the market, which it's just been updated, so it could be a while.
Yeah, so it's not strictly concerned.
It could be blended and still be, it could make it into that standard.
Any further questions? No? Okay, please round of applause for David. Thank you very much.